the police indicated that they had the murder on video. That's not so.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what happened in court today.
Well, actually, yesterday, the Crown completed their application to have the statements of two main witnesses read into evidence by way of the Evidence Act, which means essentially that because the witnesses weren't coming, they wanted to read the statement into evidence without the witness actually being there. So that was going on from last week, and essentially our argument was that the police have not really done enough to secure the presence of these witnesses, because what the Act really allows for is that all reasonable steps need to be taken before the judge can then decide whether or not the statement can go in. There were some circumstances where it was clear that the police really didn't look for these witnesses. There are persons who are affiliated with the witnesses, their family members, place of address, and the police didn't check. As it relates to one particular witness, from the very early stages we had indicated that we had some concerns about the identity of this witness. Not that the witness didn't exist per se, because I'm sure that there was a real person who had given that statement, but as to that person's identity is what we were trying to ascertain. To no avail. A statement from a particular witness indicated that she had asked the witness about an identification card, some form of identity, and he says that he had lost it. All of our checks throughout the trial proved that the witness had no birth certificate, the witness had no TRN, the witness was not on the voters list anywhere. The three schools that he indicated he attended, there is no record of that witness. There's no record of that person born on that day to those particular parents, which is really what the test would be. I am John Brown, my date of birth is X, these are my parents, I've born and grew up in a particular area, and there is no record of this person. So the judge was really left to determine whether or not he wanted to accept the say-so of this witness, based on the fact that the police were saying they really had no fixed place of address for this witness, so we couldn't find it. And that is really what the case turned on yesterday. And then today the judge just entered a formal verdict. Well, instructed the jury to enter a formal verdict of not guilty. So as far as this case is concerned, he has been found not guilty.
No way it can come back. It's done.
That's the end of the matter.
Amazing.
That's the end of it.
After 2 years plus, this was what the prosecution had to offer. It seems like, for all this time the man has been behind bars, that there must have been a great preponderance of evidence or some reason to hold him for all this time. Were you surprised that that was all they brought to the table?
No, but I think we spoke about this before. I think you and I had a conversation about this before, as to what the strength of the evidence against him in any of these cases. And I think at the time, there was this sort of media frenzy about him being charged for something else, multiple murder charges, this sort of thing. And at the end of the day, he was only really charged for 2 counts of murder, 2 separate murders. And sometime later he was charged for the offense of attempting to pervert the course of justice in relation to one of those murders. From our position from day one was very clear. We didn't believe that they had any witnesses. We didn't believe that the police were investigating the matter properly. And in relation to the second offense, it's really a circumstantial case.
This is the one that's still to be heard.
The one that is still pending. The Crown will not even be in a position to say that this person is really dead.
Really?
Absolutely.
Can you explain that a little more?
Yeah. All right. The basis of that offense is a number of persons, to include Adidja Palmer, beat somebody to death. There's no IC witness to the incident. So all the witness says is that he was in the company of this person. He ran, left the person there, and has not seen him since. That is the height of the Crown's case. There is no body. There's no DNA evidence. There's no video. There's no pictures. I think we had spoken about.
We heard about video, camera phones.
There's none of that. There's none of that.
Can you? I mean, I know I'm asking you to postulate, but can you sort of think as to why within the public's consciousness there was this sort of sense that very specific things were being discussed in terms of evidence, like the camera phone, like the fact that these were, there were all of these different incidents, there were all of these different witnesses.
Right. When we made the bail application the last time, we looked at the issue of the police using the media to prejudice his status as a fit and proper candidate for bail. So, from the very outset, the police indicated that they had the murder on video. That's not so.
Mm-hmm.
They brought that to the attention of the judge. They then indicated that they had done some DNA sample testing and that it created a link between Adidja Palmer and the murder.
Mm-hmm.
That is not so. They then came and said that they had, I believe, some text messages, some sort of admission on his behalf via text messages. That is not so. And every time we went to court to make an application for bail for him, we heard about something new that they had that was going to be used to strengthen the Crown's case. And none of it has turned out to be true. We brought that to the attention of the judge. And they said, well, he has another murder case. So here it is. He's left with only one.
Mm-hmm.
None of what the prosecution has said is true. And we're of the view that he should be offered bail. Whether we'll make another application now or in the near future is something that he'll have to instruct us on. But it's definitely an option at this stage.
Can you comment a little bit on the fact that, Vybz Kartel as an entertainer is not the only entertainer who has been jailed for long periods of time before any trial or before any bail hearing? Can you comment on the justice system's treatment of entertainers from the point of when they are charged with a particular crime through to a situation like this?
He would be in custody now for almost 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. In the ordinary course of things, you would expect that a person would be tried within about 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
because the matter would be at the preliminary inquiry stage at the resident magistrate's court. It may very well spend somewhere between 6 or 8 months at that stage. It is then sent to the circuit court, where he may very well spend another year before the matter is properly dealt with. There are circumstances where people spend up to 4 and 5 years without a trial, for one reason or the other. But in this case, because we were of the view that what the police were doing to him was wrong, we pushed for an early trial. Now, it is somewhat of a special case because he had another charge pending. So the mere fact that he has been in custody for almost 3 years is not in and of itself excessive, in other words. But we were of the view that he needs to be tried quickly. And we think that in this case, even though people may form the view that it is still long, our position was, look, you can take all the time you want to find whatever witnesses you want, but give us bail so you can go and make a living. Mm-hmm. So we're back. That's the position that we're back to here now, as it relates to this bail.
Do you feel like there's something more than just a shoddy investigation going on here? That there's maybe a vendetta at work or something? I mean, Kartel had a very well-known disagreement with a former police officer and promoter shortly before he was
I have
arrested.
heard that before.
Yeah.
I think that because of really how the cases have been progressing, I think that you could definitely draw that conclusion. I can't say one way or the other what the problem is or where it's coming from, but I think that looking at how the cases have been compiled and looking at how they have progressed, particularly with the witnesses in this case, I would say that there is an ulterior motive. There is something behind what the police are doing. And quite frankly, for me, if you don't like the way he looks or you don't like the music he sings, that's one thing. But don't try to keep a man in custody in order to almost censor his image and his music. Essentially what we're saying is here you have a statement from somebody who says that they witnessed this crime. And there's no record of them anywhere.
Right,
so what it really suggests is that there is some malfeasance on behalf of the police.